The Rugby League World Cup is over for this year, with Australia, some would say, inevitably winning, but they only just got over the line against England, winning the game by 6 points to 0. Now, Will, it was a pretty good game of footy, and Australia had to work hard to win.
Yeah, I said that last week. I knew the Pommies were going to be on in their defence because they've been defending their butts off the whole World Cup. But as I said, like, they're going to struggle to score points, and I didn't think they'll get the big zero, the big duck egg, but yeah, they got it, and that's a credit to Australia's defence. But you know, there was a couple of little situations in that game. It could have went anywhere. You know, like with Dugan does an ankle tap, Watkins, he nearly goes his length, drawing past to the guy inside. There was a couple of massive efforts from Australia, and it just showed their class and their determination and what it means to wear that green and gold jersey. No disrespect to England, they were outstanding this whole World Cup, and they were bees dick off beating us. You know, there was a couple of little things there that just went against them. And Australia, you need to really capitalise on everything that you get against Australia, because they'll make you pay some way. But 6-0, it's probably one of the closest finals we've seen for a while.
They talk about it having that Origin feel to it, I mean, Origin, I guess, is seen as a pinnacle of rugby league. But I'll tell you what, that game, it was low scoring because both sides were defending so well. The intensity in the forwards was phenomenal. And I don't think the English team should be disappointed with the way.
I don't think they are. I think they would be probably disappointed that they didn't get a try and make it a lot more interesting. And they had about, especially in the last sort of, 25 minutes, they had a lot of ball. They had a lot of ball control. They had some really good sets down on their line, but they just couldn't break the Australian defensive team. You know what I mean? They were just turning up all the time. And you know, it's great to see, you know, as a former Australian player, you know, I played in games like that where you defend your ass off. It's a big defensive game, and, you know, coming off that win, it mightn't look so pretty, you know, to all the fans and that, but them sitting in that dressing room afterwards would have been a great feeling for all the middle forwards and all the backs and everybody involved. It would have been just a great feeling, because to hold a side to 0 in a World Cup final is something to be said.
Do you think the English struggled a bit from the intensity of the game the week before? You think that Tongan game took a bit out of them? I don't. No excuses?
I think they missed O'Loughlin. Yeah. Because I don't think some of the work that he does and putting Chris Heinington into the side, you know, they just missed that balance. Yeah. Because and they missed the balance of Hodgson and Roby, because they had a really good thing going on. So a couple of little things went wrong before. So that would have maybe tipped it a little bit, because Hodgson's so classy, he had a dummy half. Yeah. And you got Roby coming off the bench, and you had Ben Curry coming off the bench, and O'Loughlin starting. So just the balance. The balance of the team was just a little bit out, because they've been playing with O'Loughlin for so many tests, and Curry coming off the bench and Roby coming off the bench. It messed up the dynamic of the team. So you could really see that. And, you know, it was a bit of a shame, because O'Loughlin's been a star player for them for years, and to do his quad 2 days out from the game, it just really messed up a lot of things, because, you know, you didn't expect Heinington to play. And Heinington's a really good club player, but at the end of the day, he plays off the bench for Cronulla. Yeah. And he plays about 30 minutes. But Wayne would have picked him because he's a specialist bench player. He picks people in their positions. He's not going to pick a person out of their position, not a starting player. It's hard for a starting player to come and play on the bench. You've got to be a specialist bench player these days. So have a look at Asafa Solomona this year. Bench player, gets picked on the bench for New Zealand, being probably the best forward in the whole World Cup.
It was an interesting battle too with the coaches. I mean, obviously there's that sort of talk from before where Wayne Bennett missed out on the Australian job to Mal Meninga. And I thought both coaches, they had the right game plan, but Australia just were a better team at the end of the day.
I mean, they always are. You know, you wear that green and gold jersey, you're expected to win, regardless of any situation. You know, and it would have been great for World Rugby League, but just devastating for an Australian team. Like, I've been in positions there when we've lost, but we've lost to a better side, a better New Zealand side, a better England side. You know, but you know,
is it time to start having a look at bringing back a few more Australia-England Test matches? I mean, they don't play. I mean, is there too much footy? I guess the big question from this is, what do they do with International Rugby League? Do they try and grow it? Do they play more games? It's hard.
It's very hard, because you get the top echelon players, you know, the Cameron Smiths and all these sort of stuff. He's racking up 50, 60 tests. Yeah. you know, and that's a credit to his durability and just the way that he competes and his consistency and everything. You can't say enough about Cameron Smith.
Yeah, but I mean, Cameron Smith's been playing since
yeah, I know, but I'm just saying,
1946.
with the other players coming up, like just say a Tyson Frizzell, he's been playing Origin for 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah.
He's an incumbent Test player.
Yeah.
So it's going to take its toll about year 6, year 7.
Yeah, of course.
You know, there's only a special amount of players that can play that 10 to 15 years for Australia.
Oh, yeah.
And it's ridiculous. You know, it takes its toll out of your body. Origin takes its toll. You're playing in semi-finals all the time, grand finals like Cameron Smith, Cooper Cronk. That's probably why you've seen Cooper Cronk call it a day.
Yeah.
He's had enough. He's played 38 tests and he's played 22 Origins. He's played in about 6 grand finals. He's been outstanding his whole career. And he goes, you know what? Probably don't, you know, the next 4 years, he's going to probably, you know, at least the next 2 years, he's going to concentrate on playing for the Roosters. And this is where it comes into your contract. And you've got to be smart with your manager and your club. To get that extra dollars that these players want, like JT, that would have been in his contract saying, you know what, JT, we'll give you that 1.2, 1.3 mil for the next 2 years, even though you're 35, 36.
But you got to.
But you can't play rep football.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword, mate.
Do you reckon the Roosters were pushing that, or do you reckon
It would have been?
Just that,
They would have been pushing it. I mean, like Cronk's he's a smart player, and you could have played another 2 years easily, and because there's no one else pushing Cronk out. There's no one pushing Cameron Smith out. There was no one really pushing JT out.
No.
It's their decision and it's the club's decision as well. If you want to play, because they know how much it takes out of you when you play Origin, they know for another 2 years of Origin with JT, Cooper Cronk, I mean, Cameron Smith, he's just that next level sort of dude that can just do.
Human.
He can just do whatever he wants. But I mean, like the hits that JT and Cooper Cronk get and they cop is way more fierce than what Cameron Smith does.
I thought it was a nice touch, though. I mean, I think they said that Smith and Slater and Cronk have played 267 games together.
It's amazing.
You know, it's a phenomenal record. They've won about 265 of them probably, but for Cronk to go out that way, where it wasn't, he was just caught up in the emotion of it.
He's all about the team.
Yeah.
You know, his first 6-7 years of Origin was off the bench.
Yeah, that's right.
He never really solidified himself as a starting 7 until Darren Lockyer retired in 2012. So he's made the most of the last 5 or 6 years where he's been an integral part of the big 3 down in Melbourne, an integral part of the Queensland campaign. So, you know, you can say, oh, you know, they were going to change when Lockyer was gone? They didn't lose a beat. They didn't miss one beat because Cooper Cronk was ready for that next level. So, you know, it's all, you know, respect to Cooper Cronk, respect to, you know, Cameron Smith, what they've done for the game. Yeah. You know, I just really worry about that next generation. Where's the next Cameron Smith? You know, when Andrew Johns was sort of retiring, there was a lot of halfbacks around, you know, that was ready to take the mantle. They're not going to be the next 8th.
I don't think there will ever be another Cameron Smith.
There was never going to be another Andrew Johns, and there never will be. But there was guys like Cooper Cronk and Thurston all ready to take the mantle or try and be as good. Danny Badiris, I thought Danny Badiris was going to be the greatest 9 ever. I still think he's the greatest 9 that I've played with.
Yeah.
He had Cameron Smith chasing him.
Yeah.
And soon as Cameron Smith took his spot in 2006, he never looked back.
Yeah, that's right.
He has not missed a test or Origin or anything. Maybe 1 or 2 tests here or whatever, getting rested. But, like, you never see him miss a beat.
No.
And who the hell is going to take his spot next?
Don't know. Well, there's no one. I mean, there's no... Whoever, they're the biggest shoes.
McCulloch, Friend, Seguiaro. I mean, he got rid of Robbie Farah and Mick Ennis. They were around his age.
Yeah.
No, you're not coming near me.
Yeah.
Like, I just really wonder who's going to be our next superstar. Well, Greg Inglis probably still got 2 or 3 years left in him. What happens when all these kids go, when all these superstars go?
Well, Cameron Smith's going to play till he's 75. He's signed a lifetime contract.
But I just wonder, man. I said, who do you hang your hat on? I mean, I think you hang your hat on Taumalolo.
Yeah.
Young, good-looking young Tongan kid has just put the whole Tongan side on his back, and he's put himself out there, and he's delivered.
Yeah.
He doesn't put a thing wrong outside the field. He's an absolute gun on the field. He needs to be the face of the game. It's 50 to 60% of the Polynesians now are dominating the NRL.
Yeah.
So for him to put himself out there now, if you have a look at what's happening in Tonga at the moment, they've been given land from the king. You know what I mean? That's the sort of impact that they've made. You know, they're over there and celebrating. He got off the plane and got carried off. he's weighing $120.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously the Tongan guys,
they're
not small either.
Not small.
So he's getting carried off. You know what I mean? Like Conrad Harrell have been doing this. They've been given land from the king. So that's the sort of impact that they've had on the game. And that's the whole Pacific, and you have a look at the whole game in general, the World Rugby League, let alone the NRL. He's been one of the best. He's been the best forward in the last 2 years. So I think they really need to go, you know what? Make him the face of the game.
Well, one bloke who doesn't think that Cameron Smith should be the face of the game was James Graham. He was caught on the microphone giving Cameron Smith a little advice about what he thought Cameron Smith was doing during the game. Now, he copped a bit of a hiding for it. To me, why does it matter what they say on the field? Like, I understand that they're talking, there were some choice words used, but do we really need to listen to what's said on the field?
Yes. I mean, like, it's all about just ratings and all that sort of shit and people just talking after the game. I mean, some of the stuff that I've said on the field.
I'm extremely glad they didn't have microphones on you when you were playing, let's be honest.
Same. There was no slander. There was nothing malice about what he said. Heat of the moment things that you say, that was nothing.
Yeah.
Out of 10, I'd say that was about a 1. Some of the shit that I've heard and said on the field. I mean, like, it's just because everything's so amplified now. You know, your times are by 10. It's a World Cup final. Like, I thought it was entertaining.
Other than yourself, who's the best sledger?
Gordon Tallis was good. Wendell was good.
Yeah.
James Graham goes right. He's fiery.
Yeah.
He says a bit of shit, and I don't mind because, like, he's a very respected player in the game. So, like, you don't usually say a lot on the field unless you're a respected person. So, like, he's pretty fiery, and what he says is pretty funny because I can't cop it. I can't take it serious because I can't understand him. So I always used to have a little battle with James Graham because I can't understand you pommy prick. Say it in English, and he would be blown up so bad. Yeah. But it was entertaining, you know. So we had some good battles, but it was all just being competitive and just wanting to get something over someone. You know what I mean? His heart's on his sleeve. He wants England to win, and you know he's going to have a crack at Cameron Smith, mate. Like, and he warrants that. Of course. If you're an absolute piece of shit, don't come at Cameron Smith. No. Don't go at Andrew Johns. Don't go at JT. Get into There's a pecking order in the game. You know, just shut your mouth if you're one of them blokes. But he warrants that. And he can say what he wants.
Exactly. He's English captain. Now, looking back at the World Cup as a whole, it was a mixed tournament. You know, I think Australia are always going to win, but the fact that the gap is widening now between the top sides and the secondary tier teams is a really good thing. So, for me, let's go through. What do you think was the best moment of this World Cup?
I can't go past the New Zealand and the Tonga game.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have loved to have said the New Zealand and England game. They're on par. The only difference is Tonga won. Yeah. Like, just the scenes at, I'll call it Ericsson because I played it, you know, in Auckland there, against England. I've never seen anything like that. But just the way, I'll go back to the one when they beat New Zealand, like the emotion that Taumalolo and the players had after that game. Yeah. It's something that you'll never ever forget. Yeah. You know, and that's something that it's really, really, you know, like it's emotional for me to even, like, when I was looking at it and I was watching it, and it was surreal. You know, like when he led the Sippy Tau, you know what I mean? Like, for a guy who's half Tongan, to watch him do that and go to that next level, I was so proud to be Tongan, you know what I mean? So there was a couple of moments there that were just really surreal, and it was just like really emotional. And then football is an emotional game, and I think you can see the scenes at that game when they played England, just that Red Sea, the singing, the hymns, the Sippy Tau, everything. I mean, I don't think anybody's ever seen anything like that in a World Cup. Yeah. So I think them sort of scenes were amazing. I mean, I'm used to seeing this. Yeah. I'm used to seeing the green and gold raise a World Cup or raise any other trophy. So that's just my takes on the World Cup.
What about the Scottish team shorts?
I need to get a pair of them shorts. I'm going to ring Johnny Walker up. See if he's got it. See if he's got a couple of spares around. But I think what the World Cup has done, and I've seen these young kids like Penny Terapo, young kid for Parramatta. He played hardly any first grade this year. I thought he was probably one of the most outstanding forwards in the game in the World Cup this year. Silly Havili, one of the best nines in the game. See, these guys were sort of on the outer of NRL contracts. Yeah. Now they're getting seen. So they're being performed on this massive big platform, and now the NRL teams have gone, okay, we'll give you another crack. So that's what I love about the World Cup. a couple of guys from PNG, a couple of people from Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, all the second-tier nations have been given another chance.
Yeah.
Because of the way that it performed in the World Cup.
For sure.
And I think that's great. And I think it's, it was something that they needed to, and I think they know that when they're on a big stage and they play against Australia and they play against these big first-tier teams like England and that, if you carve them up and you play some great football, people are watching, regardless, you know what I mean? So they know that you're capable of. And I think that's something that the Rugby League should be proud of, is these younger players that sort of given a second chance.
For me, watching Tonga and Samoa and watching the Sipitau and the Civitau coming at each other, I thought, to me, that was the moment where the World Cup sort of got away from just Australia playing New Zealand in a final. It started to really mean something.
Yeah.
Overall, I think the World Cup has been a success, and I think, Australia needs to be congratulated. What you would like to see now, you don't want to see Australia weakened, but you would love to see these nations improve.
I was in a situation where when I was 18, 19, I got the chance to play for Tonga. And that was because my mum's Tongan, and that was one of the proudest moments of my life. I was born in New Zealand but grew up in Australia. So the pinnacle of the game is playing Origin and Australia, I think. So that was my choice. I wanted to be the best at that. So I had the choice to do that, and I made the choice, And now that's getting questioned because of Taumalolo and Fafita. You'd never see this 10 years ago, ever. So they've made a statement now to the rest of the world rugby and other players as well. If you're willing to put your balls out there like they have and back it up, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So,
well, they've shown it's worth it, because I mean those Tongan games, I tell you what, they were something that I think all of those players will never forget, and most of the people that watched are never going to forget either. So, congratulations to Tonga, congratulations to all the teams in the World Cup, and let's look forward to another 4 years of talking about it.
Well done, boys.